This happens to be probably the most talked about topic from the chapter amongst the One Piece community. We go to the roof where Kaido and Luffy are fighting. Luffy is still using Hydra to attack Kaido, and Kaido's having a hard time defending himself. Kaido starts to have an inside conversation with himself about Luffy's ability. He says, is he bending the trajectory of his attacks? Given the nature of rubber, that's impossible. Tell me what you interpreted from Kaido's thoughts. And we'll go with Sebastian.
All right, so I'm still Team Luffy just has a rubber devil fruit. I will probably never not be Team Luffy just has a rubber devil fruit.
Yeah.
But this chapter with Kaido saying that, I mean, it was reminiscent of Doflamingo when Doflamingo saw Gear Force for the first time. And he was like, he shouldn't be able to do this with rubber. Like, what he's doing right now is beyond the pale for what rubber is capable of, right? Which has always been weird to me because, like, Doflamingo had so many things that he could do with his devil fruit that are beyond the pale for what string should do, but whatever. So, like, I don't think it's uncommon for people to see what he's saying right now. Like, he's technically just referencing the fact that he's changing the trajectory of his punches. And I don't think that that's too beyond the pale. Like, if he was doing even more with it, I would be like, okay, maybe we're on to something now. But this is something Luffy's done before. He's just adding more to it as far as power and, I don't want to say speed, but more pop once it's landing with Conqueror's coating. So I just think it's a common thing that New World opponents have said about, this is him and Doflamingo both basically said it. So, like, that could just be me subconsciously trying the hardest to keep Luffy in the rubber box. But I don't think it's any Sun Wukong or Hanuman devil fruit that people are theorizing personally. But I've been wrong before. So we'll see.
A lot. Yo, Lawrence.
DK a lot.
What about you?
To me, I guess he's saying, given the nature of rubber, but rubber is like elasticity, right? You're able to stretch rubber to a very far degree, right? So what Luffy is he's kind of like this bending at a certain pivot point while still stretching it. To me, it's like, I don't see why is that outside of what rubber can do, I don't see that. But which I would like, I feel like Kaido is noticing the wrong thing to me. It was more as in, not that Kaido's wrong, but because what they established what Luffy was doing in Snake Man is that he's increasing the speed of how fast he's stretching, right? Mm-hmm. That's the difference with with Snake Man. To me, that's impressive here. I guess Kaido didn't bother Kaido the aspect because to me, just because you could fold rubber just about or make rubber into almost any shape. Yes, it will eventually go back, but it's like, for example, like in the name gum, Mm-hmm. Gum and electricity, you're able to bend it and shape it to almost form anything, And the fact that Luffy's like blowing air to it, into his muscles and into his bones and stretching it, he's showing that he can do a lot with that rubber by just adding air to it, So increasing the speed you're accelerating your rubber, why wouldn't that also give you more what your capability of what you want to do with the rubber? So I guess people review, because like say, last Sebastian brought out, Kaido and Doflamingo, they're viewing rubber as very simple, right? But yes, each ability, you gotta have to be creative with your own ability, right? To create new stuff, like we see in Law. He got creative by adding to take away sound. So it's like each ability, we're saying that as far as your creative mind goes, you could make it amazing, or you could kind of dull it to Kid. You have an amazing ability, but your creativity is lacking, so you're doing simple stuff. But if you're imaginative with your ability, what you're able to do, you can make it great with it by expanding on what your own mind is able to do, like Luffy's doing. Luffy's making rubber great because of his creativity, what he's able to do with it. Increasing the speed of the rubber, blowing air into your bones and muscles, giving you more capabilities of what simple rubber could do. Because simply, it's simple. Rubber, you're not made to do much of it. But with your creativity, you can make it great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the kid slander, bro. Keep it coming, bro. Anytime you have a chance, keep spewing it out. I'm one of those people, again, I think it's rubber. I thought about it to myself, right? And I was like, all right, let's say he has another devil fruit. Does Luffy just start saying no more Gomu Gomu, like he's done saying Gomu Gomu. Like, how would that feel towards the reader? Like, oh, now it's, what was the other devil fruit you were saying that he might have had?
Oh, Sun Wukong or Hanuman?
Yeah, it's like Hanu Hanu no Mi, like
bro.
pistol. Like, I can't imagine even saying that. So for me, I think that he definitely has to have the rubber fruit. I don't think anything that he's doing is different from what rubber can actually do. And it's been shown, like Sebastian said, that Doflamingo can somehow break radio waves from entering into a string dome. And it's like, string shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
Like, string could grasp clouds? Like, what are we talking about?
And explain it now.
Yeah, like, I think overall the abilities that Luffy has is totally within the scope of just he's a rubber man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He has rubber organs. He can stretch. Cool. He snaps back.
Yeah.
Like, that's all there. So I'm not going to say it's One Piece madness because I feel like I'd be
You gotta
disrespecting.
trademark that, bro.
Yo, I don't think it's One Piece madness because there are insinuations that it could be Luffy. But I think when you start going off the rails of what rubber is and you start to think like, you know, Oda's just going to change his protagonist that he's been dealing with for the past 20 plus years into something else, it kind of defeats Luffy's character for all those years. It like kills everything that Oda built up. I don't think it really establishes or adds to Luffy's interest. If anything, it just goes, hey, you got to get used to this new Luffy now because he's a newer Luffy. And I'm like, nah, like the only new Luffy I want is King of the Pirates Luffy, Yonko Luffy. Like that's the type of status that I want of change for him. I don't want him to change though, because then that makes me feel like, damn, like who else is gonna change? Who else could change? Like
Sanji's
is
gonna start
Jinbei
kicking women?
Yeah, like is Jinbei actually a shark whale or is he a tuna fish? Like you're gonna just say he's a mythical tuna fish later? Like I don't know, man, but I know it's a bad example. But what I'm trying to say is like I don't think as a writer you're going to change your character at that point in time in the story if you built up so much and gotten your fans used to the Gomu Gomu.
Right.
Yeah, it's just not fair to the reader at that point. You're actually doing us a disservice in a way.
Yeah. No, I get because Luffy obviously didn't know anything about the ability when he ate it, right? Who told him it was going to know? It was Shanks. He's the one that raided the world government ship to take it. I feel like Shanks, did he just do it out of foreknowledge, knowing what that ability was? Because why did he raid it? Of all things, why would you raid a government ship? Because what would they hold that you had interest? So he must have knew about the ability. And he gave no credit to it being anything else but what we see here.
You know what else it could have been? He just saw a ship and wanted to raid it. And there happened to be a devil fruit on it.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be that deep. Like, these are my ops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
like,
when
they could have attacked Shanks for all we know. Like, you're a pirate who's probably worth $500 million at the time.
That's where One Piece madness starts to come through. So. And I would say this too, like, Luffy met Blackbeard. As we know, Blackbeard studied the Devil Fruit book. So why wouldn't he say, oh, you got that mythological Zoan fruit, the Sun Wukong? Like, I can't believe it. Like, I'm going to take that. But he didn't do that.
I mean, there's more to that, too. If the red herring isn't true, and it is actually Luffy, right? The world government themselves, who are probably the creators of that book, their higher-ups were unknowledge. You know, they didn't have the full knowledge of what the fruit was.
Hold on. Even though, too, it's like, wouldn't we have seen, like, little hints throughout the story?
We may have. You would have to go back and read over 1,000 chapters to try to find them. Yeah. And it's like, it just fits better if he's just the Gomu no Mi. Yeah. Like, he's the one that bounces back from anything. Like that. Like, Lawrence said this when I first started reading One Piece. Every person's devil fruit matches their characteristic trait. Like, it's just Buggy's fruit is trash because he's a clown. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Luffy bounces back. Doflamingo's is because he's a manipulative puppet map. You know what I mean? Everyone's does that. So, like, if you change Luffy's, it's like, yo, is he bouncing back or is he just some destined? You know what I mean? Like, you're changing who he is, like you were saying earlier. So, Gomu Gomu all day, every day.
All right.